next onto our community showcase, we've got Jerzy. Now, Jerzy should need no introduction. He's a big CTO craft supporter, runs mixers for us, and has genuinely been an all-around good guy. He's really helped CTO craft, so I'm really glad he's on stage today for you guys on how misjudging the importance of an unloved project can turn into a disaster. Jerzy. Come on.
Hello. Hello, everyone. For the change, I will stand on the right side, your left. Cool. I actually noticed that this title is not very easy to read, and it's actually not really unloved project. It's actually, I would say, the too much loved, and so we didn't want to let it go when it should. And this is the main kind of topic of this talk. Okay, a few words of what I'm doing, why I'm here. I started business kind of we started with the hosting industry in Poland, 2008. We got a company which was kind of small, but we are building other companies in a space. And it was rapid growth, 2014, 15. The market started to kind of, let's say, concentrate, bigger companies buying the smaller ones. And we left with a project which had around 1,000 clients, which we kept, domains, websites, email systems. And this is the project which was kind of growing, then it stalled. And then the industry change made it a bit redundant to some extent, because people started buying, cloud services. They were going into kind of a more advanced services. They went to Google, Azure, Microsoft started offering very competitive email services. And we kind of moved on, so we kept it running, but we started doing a service. So we went into cloud computing. And after some kind of we did have a small team, let's say 5-6 people working on it. They were kind of skilled on a level that they could run it, could keep it secure, update it, and we had a small team to work with the client side. So there was a communication, a lot of kind of day-to-day work. Then, as you probably know, IT went slightly up, so there was a bit more demand for the services, right? So it was growing. So we started doing a bit more cloud, and less care about this specific kind of project, which was getting a more legacy. And let me go further. And this presentation is purely about how you can attach to this kind of projects, which they are actually should be at some point on a business merit. They should be killed and pushed away. And you still kind of attached to that. So you keep it running, even though business, it's not bringing any serious money. Your team is getting kind of annoyed with this. And when the people leave, you won't replace it. So team is actually shrinking. And you're hiring for different skill already, because there's the money. So time-wise, I think 2022, we get to the situation that we didn't notice it at the start, but the project started to be unmaintainable. So basically, we didn't have people who could really react in a very, accurate way when something bad happens. To make things worse, we actually chosen specific technology under the hood. So when the technology was changing, so when you started working with a hardware, kind of physical servers, the problem at the beginning was the disks are finishing their life. So you had to replace them. And with hardware, it's kind of, you need to it's a hassle to replace disks in a mass. So we employed the technology which actually brought distributed disk storage, which the technology was called Ceph. It was now kind of, it is now purchased by Red Hat, which is a very successful project, but it means some love, like it needs some love to actually get running like continuously. And we got this kind of distributed Ceph storage, which is the size of 50 terabytes for 12 years running without an issue. Like, replacing hardware under the hood, moving from like place to place, very reliable service. And then we got into some small issues. So it was all in one data center. We didn't have really like kind of need for geographical kind of distribution. By the way, this project kind of hosting kind of legacy project was bringing around 5% of the revenue in 2024. 95% other projects, services for outside. So we see that it's, it wasn't on a mind of the board to actually make it fresh and updated. And we got some power issues. This is actual postmortem we wrote after that. Don't read it. It's intentional that you cannot read it because it's actually boring. But I will get into details. So what happened? We got a power failure. Basically, got let's say we got all this stuff for like 15 minutes without the power. Obviously, you have like backup. You have a power supply. You have a diesel engine attached to the data center. Things like that. But things don't work the way they should sometimes, and they just our kind of power supply was not really starting the way it should. So our expectation was to be like to keep this stable, right? So, but we didn't have SLA per se with the clients. So we didn't really have a written agreement with the clients that okay, this has to work like 100% of the time, right? So it means that we didn't have to invest very kind of a lot of money into security of these things, because if it went down, client waited, it got up, everything up and running. But the problem is that we got a very big coincidence that all the switches actually with the power supply off. One broke, second hung, and we suddenly got lost communication like on a network level to the storage. And things went very bad since then. Basically, we got very rare situation where storage got out of sync, and we spent almost 4 days trying to get it back. Notice that we already have very limited people who are actually understanding the system because we're doing something else, technologically something else. And we try to figure out how to recover. Within 4 days, we figure out, okay, we cannot recover the actual state. We need to go to disaster recovery. We have to move backups. And we started. So there are core services, DNS, email, databases. It's like a lot of clients trying to call us, but the problem with calling us is that the number was on a page, which was down. Clients did have MFAs, for example, their systems on our email, and they couldn't access it. And there was a lot of stuff. I'll go through what we actually discover. I'll go through it a bit faster. So the story is that we discovered a lot of stuff happening there. And the biggest probably thing we actually found is that we kind of lost the ownership of the project. So when it got, legacy, nobody was actually getting, nobody was looking at this. So you see the list of issues. We didn't test the backups at this stage because, they were like, we didn't have SLA. So we did have backups of everything, but then we kept it on a separate kind of location on AWS, on S3, and actually restoring it took 7 days in a full, because it was really like a large data sets which were like stored in specific kind of Git-like kind of model. So it was tested very often, but on a single kind of small element, small accounts, small data set. But if you want to restore everything on once, it takes days. And then communication channels were basically described. So we had a telephone number. Guys couldn't call us because they didn't know which one. It was on a page. They email system for I think 2 days didn't work. So a lot of issues. I won't bore you with the technical details. But yeah, I listed this is probably the most important stuff we uncovered on postmortem, is that the business plan was already not there. I'm in a position that I'm a founder and a CTO, and and my co-founder was really emotionally attached to the project. I did try to kill it before, but he wouldn't allow me. And then now we need to deal with the situation which was kind of spilling over to the other side of business, which was not really, it was kind of dangerous situation for the reputation of the company. But then, Polish market is quite hermetic, regional clients, and it would close us some roads in the future if we, said, okay, we don't want to recover this stuff. Long story short, we did. It took us around 2 weeks to recover kind of base and basic communication, basic services. DNS was ready a lot earlier, but email system, DNS, domains, access to domains, because they were working, just you couldn't manage them. 5 people, full-time, 2 weeks, plus minus 2 helping. And then it spilled over to 2 months for some people working on as a recovery, kind of fixing the mess we created. And then, what is the impact on the other side of the business? We didn't have these people for the whole month on a kind of client, important client work. Then we didn't really focus on the beginning of the core services, so we were looking to restore everything at once. But we could probably do something a lot earlier, which means that we didn't really have exact plan, kind of disaster recovery plan, in place. And then we actually looking back, we could probably cut the losses very early on, but we couldn't. So there was one particular thing that actually we fixed the underlying issue with the storage by speaking with the professional company from Germany, which was very expensive. It was too late to use them because they wanted 20,000 euros for fixing kind of storage. But they sent us a form kind of with a list of questions, and we went through the questions. We actually we found the root cause of why this storage didn't work, right? And we actually fixed it after around 2 weeks using external kind of consultancy, which we could employ on the beginning but we didn't because we thought that we could manage, right? This is wrong decision, but you couldn't know. You cannot really predict the outcome. I promise you that this is almost the last technical part. Business model for this kind of legacy system needs to be updated. Because like, if you don't have an updated business model, we're talking about projects which is like 18 years going. We got to the situation where it wasn't bringing enough money to invest into it, which means that should have been killed on the technical level and on a business level. We couldn't actually afford dedicated engineering firms, so we were sharing with the service. And everyone who is actually working in a service company know that there are tensions, and things are, every client comes, okay, engineers are going to the paying client, and things are not happening in internal products. This is probably the biggest kind of risk for matching product and service. And the big thing is that we didn't really have SLA, which in turn didn't force us to have full tested DR solution for it. Communication first with the client. There were complaints that clients couldn't connect with us. It was around in total we lost around 15 to 20% of the clients on this specific kind of part of the business, which is fair enough because these were guys who couldn't wait 2 weeks to restore the service. And then the conclusion was, okay, so what to do with this? And where we were actually looking into the root cause, it was the sentiment, so the attachment to the old running kind of the first business line, which was underlying problem which we were dealing with. And these are technical solutions which we came with, but the real kind of outcome of this situation was we should have killed this part of the business a lot of time earlier. Okay, going to the summary. This was what I was trying to say here is that you probably have these kind of projects somewhere in your cupboards. And it's just the only message I want to kind of push to you is just think if they are, worth keeping. Because these are pet projects. There is some certain level of ignorance actually about impact they might bring to your business, right? I know that not everyone is actually responsible for the business here, but it's a business but technical risk as well. And then there is a situation brewing there that you can actually risk your other side of the business, which is actually profitable. What we did, we actually moved all the core service to AWS, and we started kind of relying on managed services. We did kill most of the legacy project after that, and whatever left, we're trying to sell. And try to sell as we speak. We have few kind of conversation talking. And then just to have a safety net, we improve a lot of QA. So we actually started using AWS well architected for QA gateway and quality assurance. So everything which is going through the projects is unified with the client stuff and with our stuff. So we're actually using the same process now for all the systems. And then the last message, if you see that you attach too much emotionally to some, you just go to the doctor. It's bad for you, right? It's something you shouldn't be doing. And yeah, 5 minutes left of your time. Thank you.